Greetings and salutations, mortals. 'Tis I, Naszvanu here, and welcome back to part 15 of What If Naruto Was Half Uchiha. Just wanted to greet you guys by saying, sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. And so, we begin.
Is this Genjutsu?
Naruto wondered as more and more people started falling unconscious. Sand ninjas started flooding into the arena surrounding the place.
The village is under attack!
A Chunin shouted. Naruto's gaze quickly went to where Sasuke and Gaara were. Gaara was currently being escorted away while Sasuke was rushing after them. Instincts took over as Naruto rushed off after them as well. Chaos ruled over the Leaf Village as Sound and Sand Shinobi attacked. On one side was a brutal massacre, while on the other side of the village there were three gigantic snakes tearing apart everything in their path. Sakura laid unconscious on the ground, still in the Genjutsu. The Chunin exam arena was currently being flooded by Sand Shinobi, while only two Leaf Ninja were there to protect the crowd, Kakashi Hatake and Might Guy. Guy, watch my back, Kakashi said briskly as he darted over to where Sakura was, quickly getting her out of the Genjutsu.
Huh? Where am I?
Sakura asked, still slightly in a daze. No time to explain. I needed to head into the village and protect the civilians, Kakashi commanded as he barely moved fast enough to dodge an incoming shuriken. Sakura snapped out of her daze and didn't hesitate to do as her sensei commanded. The girl got serious as Kakashi noticed pink leaves started to surround the arena. The winds were picking up every second that had passed.
Let me help you first before I go,
Sakura said calmly as she slowly pulled out her sword. The fighting stopped as the Sand Shinobi were blinded by the leaves.
Wind style, petal barrage,
Sakura announced as she disappeared among the petals. In an instant, all the shinobi suddenly received a large gas in their abdomen, causing blood to go spewing across the arena. The sound of metal clinks resonated in the wind as the pink petals seemingly disappeared, revealing Sakura on the other side of the arena. Her sword now sheathed, with a splash of blood lightly painted across her face. The girl was panting heavily.
Hopefully that should make things a little easier.
Even though the girl was clearly pushing herself, she made it plainly clear to her sensei that she wasn't the same Sakura anymore. She quickly shot off towards the Leaf Village, leaving Kakashi and Guy alone in the bloodied arena, leaving no opponents left for them to face.
What a monstrous youth have you trained?
Guy asked, slightly scared of the fact that Sakura did all that in mere seconds. I don't know, Kakashi said, his mouth hanging slightly open from shock. Sakura quickly made her way to the Leaf Village. Blood covered the streets, while the sound of screams rang through the area. The gang were constantly moving civilians in the wounded to safety. In the distance, Sakura saw the three gigantic snakes. The shinobi there seemed to be having a difficult time, so the girl decided to go out and help. One of the large snakes thrashed about violently, causing a house to collapse in its wake. Sakura quickly jumped up onto the roof.
What is this Genin doing here? Get back to safety!
A Chunin shouted. Unfortunately, the man lost focus for that split second, allowing a snake to morbidly splatter him across the ground. Rage started building inside the girl. Who would do all of this to our peaceful village? Gale force wind started roaring around Sakura as she steadily unsheathed her blade, the metal slashing the air as it was pulled. The girl started pouring more and more chakra into her blade, focusing it, causing it to start glowing a pink hue. She steadily pointed her blade at the ground as Sakura got into her stance. The wind started picking up some of the loose rubble. All this was draining the girl's chakra reserves rapidly.
I can't do much, but at least let me try to get rid of these vermin.
Sakura's hand clenched tightly around her blade as she slowly gazed at the monstrous beast in front of her. One slash of this technique is all she could manage at the moment. This would be the first time she had the opportunity to use it on a living target. The pink-haired swordswoman lowered her center of gravity as she bent down, her blade now pointed directly in the direction of the beast.
Wind style, gale force,
Sakura said under her breath as she launched up at the beast. The strong winds boosted her up higher and higher and faster than ever before. She quickly wound up her strike. The blade burst out as it suddenly increased in size tenfold.
Pulse!
Sakura announced, swinging her sword in hopes it would kill all three at once. The winds from the blade created a large tornado to form under its wake, blinding the other shinobi from seeing what was happening inside. Sakura closed her eyes in hopes of hearing the satisfying sound of a clean slice. But instead, the sound of metal shattering resonated. The force of the chakra-infused blade blew Sakura away into a nearby tree. The girl spewed out blood upon impact. She shakily stood back up. Her chakra reserves were now fully depleted. But that wasn't the worst of it. Sakura looked down at her sword, but all she saw was the tattered hilt of her blade. She slowly looked up, seeing that the three snakes only received a small scratch from her attack. Tears started flowing down her cheeks, as she remembered all the time she had spent with the blade. It wasn't the most expensive or even the most alluring blade, but it was hers. She allowed her cockiness to get the better of her, and now that cost her dearly. Below the snakes, Sakura could see shards of broken metal, some even still glowing from the immense amounts of chakra she had placed into them. The three snakes continued moving, as if they weren't even injured in the slightest. Suddenly, a burst of red light blinded everyone in the area. In a split second, the light appeared and then disappeared. Sakura quickly looked at the beast, seeing the heads slowly glide off their bodies. The beast's heads made loud thuds as they landed, kicking up a wave of dirt and dust. Sakura's heart started beating fast. Different emotions flooded her. Fear, anger, excitement, rage, sadness, all sorts of things. But the girl found herself slipping from consciousness. Her chakra drained down to near lethal levels. Sakura held her blade held tightly as she gave in and felt unconscious right then and there. On the outskirts of the Leaf Village, Sasuke was still in hot pursuit. "Sasuke!" Naruto shouted as he continued chasing after his comrade. The young Uchiha didn't care if his friend was calling him. He wouldn't allow Naruto to get involved. This was his fight. "Temari, you go ahead. I'll stall them," Kankuro said, allowing his sister to carry Gaara further away. The girl simply nodded as Kankuro transferred Gaara's weight over to her, watching as she rushed off. Kankuro quickly got ready as he released the thing strapped onto his back. It was an odd-looking wooden puppet. "I won't let you get Gaara," Kankuro said as a purple liquid dripped out of the puppet's palms. Soon Sasuke was in the sights of Kankuro. "Get out of my way!" Sasuke shouted as he held his fingers up to his mouth. "Fire style! Flame Dragon!" Sasuke announced as a gigantic dragon went soaring towards Kankuro. The flame dragon engulfed him as he and his puppet went flying off into the forest, leaving Sasuke uninhibited. Temari quickly looked back, seeing that Sasuke was still close by and Kankuro didn't stall him at all. "Damn it!" the girl said as she attempted to speed up, but it was too difficult with Gaara on her back. Sasuke stayed focused on his target, but suddenly a red bolt of lightning flew past, immediately catching up to the two Genin. Naruto appeared right above them, a fireball jutsu already primed as he let go of the jutsu right above them, forcing them down into the forest floor and cratering them into the dirt. "Damn it all!" Sasuke shouted as he sped up towards Naruto, who was now standing triumphantly in front of the two, teasing them for thinking he'd get away. Sasuke landed behind the boy. Sasuke slowly walked up to the red-headed boy, before cracking the boy straight across the skull, causing him to go to the ground. "That was my target, you bastard!" Sasuke shouted as he just couldn't help himself as rage just poured out of him. Each and every time Naruto appears and takes all the glory. "Hey, what was that for?" Naruto groaned as he got up onto his feet, rubbing the back of his head. "That was being for a selfish asshole!" "Hey, who you calling a selfish asshole? You stupid jackass!" "Jackass? Why, Naruto started taking off his jacket. The boy was sick of Sasuke always being so pissed off and angsty these days. Sasuke doesn't hesitate, as he took off his own jacket and threw it to the side, before suddenly tackling Naruto to the ground. The two Uchihas started throwing down, forgetting they were in the presence of an enemy. Up high in the treetops, a burst of red light erupted as a man cloaked in black appeared. His eyes looked down onto the two in shame. "Seriously, how unprofessional," the man said as he decided to sit down on the treetop to watch the show. Gaara shakenly got up as his eyes scanned around the area. He noticed Sasuke pinning Naruto against a tree, but that was the least of his worries. The boy desperately looked around for his sister before finally spotting her next to him. Blood leaked out of her mouth as she was unconscious. The boy's eyes widened as he let out a hellish scream. Sasuke stopped fighting Naruto for a second as he looked over to Gaara, seeing sand starting to envelop him. Suddenly, Naruto landed a strong punch to Sasuke's chest, forcing the boy off of him. "Stop, you idiot! Can't you see we have bigger issues to attend to?" Sasuke shouted as he rubbed some blood off his jaw. Naruto mumbled something incoherent, but Sasuke didn't care. As he dodged a wave of sand, sand started enveloping Gaara's body even more, taking on a beast-like form. His screams became louder and louder as the ground itself started shaking. Naruto now focused as he attempted to get close, but was suddenly met with a large sand claw shooting out from under the ground and pinning him against a tree. The boy attempted to get out, but every move he made forced the thing to tighten even further. "Sasuke!" Naruto shouted, looking over to the boy desperately. The young Uchiha felt his lungs were about to pop under the pressure. "Damn it!" Sasuke said under his breath as he rushed towards Naruto, dodging another wave of sand. The boy quickly launched up and grabbed Naruto by the hair, pulling him free. "Ow! Ow! Ow! What the hell?" "Shut up! Be thankful!" Sasuke said as he grabbed Naruto by the collar and jumped up into the treetops to get away from the sand. "Finally, that Brit let me have a go," a voice said from all around as a massive creature crawled out of the unearthed ground. The creature stood taller than the mountain. "Was this in your calculations?" Sasuke asked nervously as he accidentally allowed Gaara to finish his transformation. Naruto sheepishly rubbed the back of his head. "More power then?" the boy said before jumping down onto the ground, with Sasuke following close by. Naruto quickly sliced his finger, drawing blood before placing his hand onto the ground. "Summoning Jutsu!" Naruto shouted, pouring as much chakra as possible into the summoning. Naruto and Sasuke were instantly shot up high as a being stood underneath them. The creature now standing the same size as the tailed beast. Well, if it ain't Gamabuta," the tailed beast said as Gamabuta just sighed. "Seriously, kid? You summoned me just to fight an oversized rat? Hold on now, who are you calling a rat? I can kick your greenhorn ass threefold!" The tailed beast shouted before charging at Gamabuta. The large toad instantly met the tailed beast's attack with a sword, stopping the beast from coming closer. "Alright, let's start," Naruto said as he grabbed Sasuke by the collar. Wow, reversal. Before shooting off towards the beast. As Gamabuta was keeping the beast occupied, Naruto and Sasuke were busy traversing the creature, planting explosives all across its body. Soon Naruto and Sasuke fell back to give room for the explosion. "Do you want to do the honors?" Naruto asked, simply watching as two beasts fought. "My pleasure," Sasuke said as he did a simple fireball jutsu aimed directly onto one of the explosives. The string of explosives went off all across the beast. It screamed out in agony as it fell down to one knee. "Yes! He did it!" Naruto exclaimed as he fist bumped Sasuke. The young Uchiha couldn't help himself meet Naruto halfway. Naruto gave Sasuke a closed-eyed smile, but suddenly, a gruesome splattering entered Naruto's ears. The boy quickly opened his eyes, seeing a spike of sand travel straight through Sasuke. The boy had blood pouring out of his abdomen. As the spike traveled deeper, his body was flung back by the sudden force as he was sent flying off into the woods. At that moment, something snapped in Naruto. His Sharingan went blazing alive. "Sasuke!" the boy shouted. An explosion of chakra erupted from Naruto as an orange-red hue covered the boy as he quickly started growing his chakra. Tails spewing from his back in droves. In an instant, Naruto sprung on top of Gamabuta, planting his hand through the beast's tough skin. "Ow! What the hell are you doing?" Gamabuta was cut off as his body was engulfed in a burning rage. The large toad's form changed into a glowing nine-tailed fox. "Kurama?" the tailed beast questioned, but suddenly he was tackled down by the nine-tails look-alike. Naruto's animalistic scream echoed through the area as the boy shot into the air, orange lightning trailing behind him. His malice voice slowly spout his jutsu. "Dragon style! Tempest Dragon Jutsu!" The boy howled out as a dragon-like beast shot out of Naruto's body. Chakra was exploding out of him. Thunder and flames spewing out his body as it generated winds which could be felt for miles on end. The sound of thunder was deafening as the Tempest Dragon flew in circles around the tailed beast. back at the now destroyed treetops was a mysterious man. Wow, I never thought someone could manage this. Guess that's what happens when you have too much chakra. Huh, the man said, laughing a bit as he watched the show unfold. Naruto had some sweat beating down his forehead, but the uncontrollable rage he felt could not be ignored. The fox cloak around him changed as it seemingly grew more tails. Naruto felt his flesh burning as a sixth tail formed on him. The one-tailed beast instantly tried to get away from the nine-tailed grasp, but it was useless as he watched the fire dragon come barreling down at them. In an instant, the dragon exploded in a burst of cosmic demonic fire. The explosion covered both beasts in a mushroom cloud as the shockwave traveled across the forest. The ground shook heavily from the explosion as the sky filled with an unholy amount of thunder. Slowly, the ground stopped shaking as the explosion quieted down. The sky, however, stayed rumbling. The mysterious man walked toward the battlefield, seeing one huge crater. Gaara was on his back, while Naruto was hunched over him. The young Uchiha's back was burnt heavily while panting from exhaustion. Why? Why didn't you let me die? In the midst of the explosion, Naruto jumped over to where Gaara's position was on the one-tails. The boy took the brunt of his own attack and covered Gaara from being killed. Because you don't deserve to die. You were looked down on by your people for being a monster, right? Well, I'm the same. The villagers here hate me as well. I was lucky enough to have Sasuke to support me. Otherwise, I would have fallen on the same road that you're on right now. Things don't have to turn out like you think. It doesn't have to be this way. There are people out there who will support you. Like your friends who try to protect you. Don't let this beast control your life, Naruto said, tears streaming down his face as he had an understanding of Gaara's own pain. Gaara had a single tear stream down his face before the boy fell unconscious. Naruto shakily got up. His chakra reserves have never been so low before. The boy just felt like sleeping, but he couldn't allow himself to do so. Not until he checked up on Sasuke. Naruto painfully crawled his way out of the crater. As soon as he stood up, a dark figure stood in front of him. The figure wore all black. His hair was onyx, while his face was covered by a mask. What stood out most was the Sharingan staring deep into Naruto's soul. You've grown, the figure said as slowly as he walked towards Naruto. The boy quickly took out his kunai, ready to defend himself by any means necessary, but the man kept approaching, undaunted. Suddenly, the man appeared in front of Naruto. The boy could barely comprehend what was happening as the man slammed his fist into Naruto's abdomen. Instantly, Naruto left consciousness. The man took off his mask in order to smoke another cigarette. So, having the full nine tails allowed you to do all of this. Well, color me impressed. But it seems like you could use some more technique. The man crouched down and looked at the kunai Naruto held. What is this garbage? The man took the kunai and instantly threw it towards a nearby mountain. He quickly ruffled through his coat before finding an old kunai. It had a cross-shaped blade with a seal wrapped around the hilt. The man placed the kunai in Naruto's pocket before picking him up. Instantly, in a red flash of thunder, the man traveled across the now barren wasteland, stopping when he reached Sasuke. The boy was bleeding out and was falling in and out of consciousness. The man walked up to Sasuke and placed Naruto next to him. He then placed a hand on Naruto as he started pulling energy from him. The essence from the Nine Tails flowed into the man's hand. Now, this is exactly the Nine Tails essence, so don't get excited, the man said as he turned to Sasuke, holding up his hand as he was about to place it over to the boy. Instantly, Sasuke felt power flowing into him. His body got cladded in an orange hue as the large gaping wound started rapidly regenerating. This should help you catch up a bit, the man said as he stood up and started walking away, leaving Naruto and Sasuke there. leaving them unconscious alone in the wasteland. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in the story thus far. Hope you enjoyed it. Now there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, we've got a primary channel called We the Celestials. We the Celestials is what we do here already, but their content centered around the crazy world and lore of My Hero Academia. So please check us out over there if you're feeling in the mood for a roller coaster of quirky content. We also have another relative to our channel, Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes deep into the facts and lore of a wide variety of anime. It's sure to expand your weeb knowledge for all kinds of series guaranteed. I'd like to let you know on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. If you're perhaps interested in what we do here at WTC, then I would like to extend out an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being we only accept members 16 and older to join our crew. You can find us on our Discord, which you can locate in the description below. Our Discord is an all-around fantastic place to be, whether you're a fan or looking to join our band of misfits. All you gotta do is hit up the recruitment server and sign up for whichever category of work that fulfills your interest. We're always looking for members to join us. Well then, that is it from us for today's video. So I thank you for watching, and have a